Welcome back. Just want to start off by saying, unfortunately, I haven't been feeling that great for the last couple days. And I've been all congested, nasally, sneezy, you name it, I've had it. And I've been putting off filming this video. But here it is now, Tuesday, about mid-afternoon. And as you know, I've been trying to get these videos uploaded for viewing on Tuesday evening. And also today is my wife's and I's 8th anniversary of being married, which is great. So we're going to go out for dinner tonight, and I have a very limited amount of time that I can actually put this video together, edit it, upload it, make it available, the whole 9 yards. And I decided, you know, I'm feeling a little better today. Rather than not have any video at all, I'm going to go ahead and start doing a little bit of this particular project we're going to work on. And also, there won't be a Thursday upload this week because I'm going on a camping trip for a couple nights. And I'll just simply be out in the woods on Thursday. Won't be around to be able to upload anything or shoot anything for that matter. I will, however, be recording footage from the trip, and I'll have that posted to my other channel, which I will put a link to in the description below of this video, and probably a couple other videos going forward, just so you can check out the other channel, which is more personal things and less technical, gadgety, you know, how-to stuff and whatnot. But anyway, today we're taking a look at this automatic wire stripper. Now this came from my dad's tool collection. This isn't like one of the top brands. This is actually the best brand, it's called, and it says it's made in Taiwan. I know very little about this, just that, you know, it's been in his toolbox for quite a while. You can see it does have a nice little patina of rust on it, but unfortunately one of the claws doesn't quite close all the way. I mean, it does right now, and they're supposed to close fairly evenly. This side's supposed to pinch the wire down, and then the other side here will actually cut the wire, and then it separates it and strips it for you. But the grip side is a little bit weak. It doesn't quite do what it needs to do. I actually have a piece of wire here I could demonstrate that on. This is 18 gauge wire, and the 18 gauge piece is here on the end. You can see it just skates right through it. It doesn't really do anything. Let me get a better shot of that. Yeah. I do like these particular style of strippers. I just haven't gotten any myself. So what I'm going to do here is a couple different things. We're going to strip this apart. I'm going to hit it with some WD-40 and clean it up really good. Perhaps even use a wire brush. So we have here the can of everyone's favorite libation, WD-40. And we're going to Plasti-Dip the handles. This is just your standard dippable Plasti-Dip. It's not the spray type, obviously, because it's a little top on here. But I'm going to take the electrical tape off here. This will get dipped in here. And there's a process to it. You dip slow. You dip it in really slow, and then you pull it out just as slow, and you let it drip. And we'll get into the nitty-gritty to how long it takes to dry between coats. But we'll put several coats on this. I'm going to try to do this hopefully all in one video today. I'm not sure how much I'm going to get into it. Of course, part of the other problem is they're doing a little bit of maintenance in the park here today, and there's no running water. And being that we have to go out for dinner tonight and get all cleaned up before that, and I'm not sure the water will be turned on before that, so I have a limited amount of time to try to do this. But nevertheless, I'm here for you guys. I want to try to get this done. It's been a project I've been wanting to take care of for a couple days now. Unfortunately, like I said, not feeling great and sounding pretty crappy doesn't help. But let's get right into this. I have a little tray here that's going to help organize this. We're going to just take this apart. We can see here, turning this screw turns the other screw, so I'm going to have to get another screwdriver, or actually we can just hold it. Now hopefully this doesn't go all flying apart on us here. It may, which will be very funny. It might not. Okay, so this pin looks like this is just going to pull out, and now the two halves should separate. I can see there's a spring in here, and this is what makes it come back together. And then there's also the other spring here, which helps it come apart. And it looks like everything's just going to fall right out of this. Now, like I said, this isn't the best tool. It's been used quite a bit. You can see by the wear inside here. All these little pins just seem like they slide right out. There's nothing really holding them into place. And we'll also take these screws out here on the side. This is what's going to hold these jaws into place. And what I'll do is I'll take all the rusted out pieces, I'll put them in this tray, and I'll hit it with the WD-40. And we're going to let it soak for a little while. What I might end up doing is, my parents live a couple houses over, or I should say a couple towns over. So we'll, most likely the wife and I will take a ride out there and just get cleaned up for tonight. And I'll let this soak while we do that. And hopefully, by the time we come back, the water's back on, so at least have running water in the house. But you can see this just all pretty easily comes apart. Now here's the one culprit here. You can see it's pretty well rusted. Now I don't have any hopes of this actually working, because after all, like I said, it's kind of old and pretty well worn and pretty well rusted. But I'm going to give it my fighting chance. Let's see what we can find from this thing. I might even paint the body of this thing too. Let's see. Now these two halves don't look like they're separating. There is another little spring inside here, and also a connecting bar. So we might just leave those two alone, since after all we got the important bits out. They're already in the bin. So let's take a close look at this. This is the cutting edge section, and this is the gripping section. Doesn't look like it's in terrible shape. And the hinge here is in the middle. You can see by the wear that could use some good lubricant in there. Also, I don't have it pictured here because I have to go find one, but I'm going to get myself a little wire brush and clean this up. Let's take a look at the handles here. You can see there's quite a bit of dust and schmoo in there, as evident by the dirt in the towel. And then we have the handles. Now, electrical tape does insulate. I don't recommend using these strippers or anything on live wire. Usually you'd kill the circuit. But I'm assuming the electrical tape was put on here more for the comfort, just to give it a little bit of cushioning. And perhaps it may have even had rubber grips at one point. You can see, of course, from the taping on there, there's going to be some residue. So this will obviously all get cleaned and scrubbed and soaked in the WD-40. The body parts might not, though. They might just get cleaned. All the other parts are going to get cleaned up in actual WD-40. Oh, and here's my cat Tigger trying to figure out what's going on. Hi, Tigger. He's just going to sit off to the side over here and watch as I do this. So yeah, this is all pretty well rusted. That's okay. And if we can't figure out how this goes back together again, well, such is life, I guess, right? But yeah, the way this kind of works is as you squeeze the handles, it activates the jaws inside, and then they will separate when you get to a certain point, and then when you let go, they all come back together again. So there's a lot of little mechanisms in here. I mean, it's just a bunch of linkages, and the actual cutting end of this doesn't look horrible. You can see they actually have a pretty good life left on them. It's just a matter of actually getting the rust out of here and getting them cleaned up. So what I'm going to do now is spare you the boring bits. I'm going to spray all this down with the WD-40, let it sit in here for a little while, clean up what I can clean up myself here, and let this soak for a little while. I'm going to come back, put some good gloves on, get a wire brush somewhere along the lines and scrub this. Now I know I have a drill activated wire brush, which would make this go quicker, but I don't have a vise or really anything to hold these pieces in. So I might just take a pair of pliers and just hold them, or a pair of vice grips or something, and we'll attack it that way. But nonetheless, let me go ahead and do that, and we'll see you probably maybe an hour and a half or so, my time, and just a couple seconds in your time. I just got back from my little trip, and you can see I let the WD-40 do its thing and soak here. You could tell by the heavy rust in the bottom of this bin here, it did do the trick. And it got cleaned up a lot nicer than it certainly was. There were some pieces here that were pretty badly rusted on the surface, and they're not so bad now. You can actually see some of the steel in some of them, like this claw piece right there. There's just, it will take another little, you know, quick sanding job here before I can get it really clean. I'll probably either hit it with some sandpaper or ultimately take it out to the shed where I have a wire wheel, and I'll chuck the wire wheel into my drill press, and I'll use that so I can kind of go two-handed with it and hold the pieces in my hand easier. I also was managed to get the actual jaw piece here apart. There was just this little latch that, you know, was just overlooking. All I had to do was just disengage it. Pretty easy. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my little tripod, get the camera out there, and just do a quick run through with the actual wire wheel and see if I can get these pieces cleaned up. At the very least, I want to try to get the handles and these guys here cleaned up so I can go ahead and maybe put a light coat of paint on them while I let that soak some more in some WD-40, just to, you know, help get that rust off of it. When I started the video, I mentioned getting this put on YouTube today, Tuesday, for my normal Tuesday uploads. But as I get closer and closer to the time I have to get out of here to go to dinner, the less I feel like I'm gonna actually have this finished. So this might actually be either a two-part video, or I'll just wait till I come back from my little trip to upload it, or whatever the story is gonna be. I haven't quite figured that out yet. So if you're watching this and it's not Tuesday, the normal upload day, then you'll know why. But anyway, I digress. We're out here in the shed, and I got the wire wheel chalked into my Shopsmith 10ER. I will have a separate video on this eventually at one point. Kind of neat little device here, but it is set up as a drill press right now, so I can go ahead and, you can see, just move this around freely. So I'm going to go ahead and put some gloves on. I don't have the best lighting in here, so I kind of have a little clamp light and some other things just pointing down on it. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit this up as best as I can with this wire wheel. Try to do this safely. Of course, this is something you want to wear safety glasses for, because these little wires are kind of a nuisance. And we're going to see if I can get this cleaned up as much as possible. I'll try to show you the before here, just so you can get an idea how it looks. The handles with the leftover electrical tape on it. The important parts are the wear parts here, obviously. I want to try to get them nice and smooth and clean. So let's go ahead and hit this up. I'll spare you the boring bits. We'll come back once I have something good. Here's a quick little before and after shot. Here's the before shot of the handle, and here's the after. You can see I got it down to actual bare metal, which is pretty nice. And it actually buffed it kind of shiny, which is pretty neat. But I'm going to go ahead, continue what I'm doing here. And as I was doing this, I've decided what I will do is strip the rest of this off. These are going to get painted. Obviously, I don't have enough time to let the paint dry before I get to put it together. So I'm going to make this into a two-part video. Part one is just the disassembly, the introduction to what I'm doing, the cleaning off the parts in the WD-40 and whatnot, the removal of the paint from the actual body of the tool. And then part two is going to be the finishing of it. It's going to involve me putting the rubber handles on. It's going to involve me doing the assembly of it and everything else. So with that, I'm going to go just cut for a few minutes from this actual project. I'm going to run back inside with this camera, upload the video to my computer, do a quick editing job, and start the uploading process now. So hopefully when I come back from dinner tonight, it'll be done and I can have this available for you fine folks to watch. So with that, I want to thank you for watching. Stay tuned for part two of this video. I did mention I'm going camping, so I'd imagine part two is going to take place once I actually come back from that trip, and everything will be great at that point. So expect a weekend update, I guess you could say. We'll skip right over Thursday, and the next available day I have available, I will have this video uploaded. So once again, thanks for watching.